We also have at this special occasion the Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Secretariat, Tunde Lawal. Please. May I also acknowledge on the high table the Director General of FRIN, Professor Olushola. Please let's appreciate him with a round of applause. Similarly, may I use this opportunity to invite to the high table the Director of PRS in the Ministry of Environment, Ms. Dr. Bolatito Obishesan. Please let's appreciate her with a round of applause. May I also acknowledge and welcome to the ITB the DG of the National Agency for Great Green Wall, Dr. Buka Hassan. Permit me to also invite to the ITB the Registrar, CEO, Environmental Health Officer, Registration Council of Nigeria, Dr. Dominic O. Aboyin. Without further ado, in the course of this program, we will continue to appreciate and acknowledge other dignitaries. But without further ado, may I invite to the microphone. I was trying to, because of time, do a general introduction, but I have the directive to acknowledge individually the presence of directors in the ministry. Permit me to acknowledge the presence of the Director of Human Resources Management in the ministry, Mr. Daniel Peter. Also to acknowledge the Director of Procurement, Dr. Patti Unenem. The Director of Finance and Accounts, Mr. Baba Mohammed. Director General Service, Mr. Asuku E.E. Also the Director Reform Coordination, Ms. Margaret Akimuko. The Director Special Duties, Mr. Yakubu Mohammed. Director Internal Audit, Mr. Kadri E. Also the Director Press, Mr. Sagil Mohammed. Director Environmental Assessment, Mr. John Alonge. The Legal Advisor of the Ministry, Ms. Stella Aburime. The Director PC and EH, Mr. Charles Ikea. Also the Director 2 in that department, Mr. Theodore. Permit me to also acknowledge the presence of Director Erosion, Flood and Coastal Zone Management, Engineer Nwobi Herbert. The Director Climate Change, Dr. Peter Taffa is also here. May I also acknowledge the presence of the Director overseeing the Office of the Drought, Desertification and Amelioration, Ms. Mabel Emmanuel. Please let's appreciate her. At this point also in time, may I acknowledge the head of agencies and projects under the ministry. Permit me to recognize the presence of the DG, National Agency for Great Green Wall, Dr. Buka Hassan, early mentioned, the DG Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, Professor Adeshola O. Adepoju is also registered on the iTable. The DG National Biosafety Management Agency, Dr. Rufus E. Egbegba. The Registrar CEO, Environmental Health Officers Registration Council of Nigeria, Dr. Dominic O. Aboyin. Also the Conservator General, Mr. Ibrahim Musa Goni. The DG of NESRA, Professor Aliu Jairu is also here. May I also acknowledge the presence of the DG of NOSTRA, Mr. Idris O. Muda. Musa, thank you very much. Thank you very much. The coordinator of NEWMA, Mr. Salisu, early mentioned, and the project coordinator of HYPRED, Dr. Marvin Berryman Dekil. The director, Forest, Mr. Andrew Adejo. Forestry, Mr. Andrew Adejo. Thank you. Okay, Forestry. Thank you very much, Director Forestry. Without further ado, may I at this point in time welcome to the microphone to officially bid you welcome to this event, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Environment, Mrs. Ibukun Odushote. Please let's appreciate her as she come forward to deliver the welcome address.
The Honorable Minister of Environment, Surveyor Suleiman Hassan Zarman, the Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Secretariat, my brother. Incidentally, today is his birthday, and he's celebrating his birthday with us. Mr. Babatunde Lawal, directors of the ministry, my colleagues. I think some people just want to see my face. All right now. Chief Executive or parastatals under this Ministry of Environment, invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It's with great pleasure that I welcome you all to this auspicious occasion of the valedictory press briefing of the Honorable Minister of Environment, Surveyor Suleiman Hassan Zarman, as he presents the success story of the Federal Ministry of Environment in the past 4 years of the historic administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Permit me to seize this opportunity to announce that this briefing marks the end of the tenure of our committed minister, Surveyor Suleiman Hassan Zarman, who has brought vibrancy, drive, and direction into the environment sector in the last few months of this administration. He has built most profoundly on the foundation that was laid by his predecessors in office under this administration. Upon his assumption of office as the Honorable Minister, he hits the ground running by actualizing the vision of President Muhammadu Buhari in the long-awaited remediation of the Ogoni land as recommended by the United Nations Environment Program. Furthermore, in this, you can clap, yes, clap. Furthermore, in this short while, under his watch, Nigeria has secured notable accomplishments in climate change issues, including improved access to the Global Environmental Facility, the issuance of the Sovereign Green Bond, one of which took place this morning just before I came here, just to mention a few. He also initiated various environmental policies and programs geared towards addressing environmental pollution, land degradation, biodiversity, and efficient framework for the effective management of the environment. Your Excellencies, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Minister's milestone in the area of addressing the various ecological challenges facing different parts of the nation, as well as his commitment towards ensuring the establishment of shelter belts across the country to protect desert encroachment and desertification remain indelible. Although we are at the verge of transition to a new administrative era tackling the next level, as will be evident in the briefing today, we most profoundly acknowledge that in the last few months of Sylvia Zama, a complete gentleman, much progress was achieved in the environment sector. It is our prayer that the next administration of President Muhammadu Buhari will further witness exponential growth in the development of this sector. I most humbly welcome you to an exciting and educative briefing by the Honorable Minister on the performance of a sector that can be regarded as the most important in any nation. That's because we all live and breathe the environment. Suffice to say that this event could not have come at a more opportune time than today, as it affords the Honorable Minister a chance, the opportunity to take account of his stewardship during his tenure as the Honorable Minister of Environment and to present the general public with the updates on the environment sector. I would want to say once again, I welcome you all and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Can we please give her another round of applause? Ladies and gentlemen, before we invite the Honorable Minister to give his presentation, we'd like to engage you in a 15-minute documentary showcasing the works of the minister. Please enjoy.
What we have done, we have impacted great health, education, economy, and agriculture.
I even had an opportunity as a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Environment to physically visit with the traditional rulers in areas that are so affected. And the result and the outcome of outings that we had with them confirms that they feel so happy.
Securing a quality environment conducive for good health and well-being of the citizens, and promoting sustainable use of natural resources are just few out of many mandates of the Ministry of Environment. If we choose to assess all the ministry's strengths under the current administration, the story will not end, considering the huge accomplishments within a short period. It will be recalled that the leadership of the Honorable Minister of Environment, Zavil Suleiman Hassan Zarma, took office on the 18th day of December 2018. Since resumption and building of the foundation laid in the early days of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, massive progress has been made to ensure the President's directives for Nigeria's environmental sector are met and basis of its sustainability strengthened. Of course, these feats were not achieved without the support of his permanent secretary, Mrs. Ibukun Odushote, and all the staff of the ministry, including the productive agencies under the supervision of the ministry. These officials have recorded quite a number of breakthroughs, events worthy of note. Here are some key policy initiatives of the ministry and how they have succeeded in achieving them. The cleanup of Ogoniland, Ogoniland area in River State has over the years been destroyed by oil spill, leading to the destruction of surrounding waters and farmland. A UNEP report after a scientific study recommended a total cleanup of the environment. It will be right to say that the ministry is making history in the cleanup of Ogoniland, restoring polluted environment, putting an end to all forms of oil contamination in the region. New map, another giant stride of the ministry under this administration. Over the years, Nigeria has been affected by environmental challenges such as erosion, flood, deforestation, and biodiversity problems. The introduction of the Nigeria Erosion Watershed Management Project, New Map, by President Muhammadu Buhari's led administration through the Ministry of Environment has brought solutions to these environmental challenges. Results are enormous. Under the new map program, a total of 1,558 hectares of land have been reclaimed in the 7 pilot states, which are Abia, Anambra, Cross River, Ebonyi, Edo, Enugu, and Imo. These were achieved through the erosion management strategy.
This is a World Bank agency that initially was conceived for just 15 number states, but it has now increased to 21. We also have some other states that just applied to be joined, and we're also considering them for them to be joined and funded to do projects in that area.
The ministry designed a waste management framework. Few states were identified to pilot test the scheme with one waste recycle plant, each in an agreement entered into with the state and investors on the public-private partnership arrangement. The program has also helped Nigeria to manage her environment, keeping it clean while turning waste into wealth for the people.
This administration, more than any administration, have done exceedingly well to help save this environment, protect our environment for the well-being of the generality of the people, and also we have, like I said, introduced an economic component in all that we are doing, be it in climate change, be it in forestry, and so on and so on. Because if you look at other components of this ministry, which I have not talked to you about, is the issue of waste wealth, where we have installed a lot of waste recycling plants across this country, and some of them are actively working.
Before now, so we wouldn't say that altogether it hadn't started, but it assumed some seriousness at this particular moment.
We consulted with the government, people, and traditional institutions in the impacted areas, and we handed over 16 number contractors to the community so that they can start the remediation process. That I can tell you today that these people are on ground, they are working around the clock. The green bond is another avenue of funding projects that are in the budget but might face financial constraints. You have to understand that it's not everything in the budget that gets the appropriate funding. The green bond is getting some fund to finance projects that will involve things that are not inimical to our environment. Will reduce the number of gas emission. For example, we fund electrifying, energizing education by doing projects that are renewable energy based.
Through the minister's hard work and commitment, a bill to provide a legal framework for mainstreaming of climate change responses and actions into government policy is under review, waiting to be passed. Nigeria became one of the 146 countries to endorse the Paris Climate Change Agreement. Nigeria also emerged the first country in Africa and the fourth in the world in the issuance of sovereign green bond.
It is now known all over the world that Nigeria is the first country in the sub-Saharan Africa to have issued a green bond. A very successful one at that. We have done that. We have funded some projects. We have inspected these projects. Some of them are still ongoing. Some of them are nearing completion. And to the glory of God, that was a success. We are now on the second round of issuing another green bond. And if we succeed in issuing the green bond, the second green bond, I assure Nigerians that the third green bond will be offshore, where it will have some foreign component and international investors.
This administration has implemented the Great Green Wall program in 11 frontline states and counting. This also involves the establishment of green wall or shelter belt from Kebbi to Borno State, community sensitization and mobilization, promotion of alternative source of energy, promotion of alternative means of livelihoods, and promotion of dryland agricultural technology. The overall objective of the Nigerian Great Green Wall program is to improve the condition of the poor and the most vulnerable groups, including children and women. The initiative is to combat desertification, reduce poverty, and address the effects of climate change.
Now, the National Agency for the Great Green Wall is also another agency of this ministry, whose focus is also on what we call the frontline states. These are the frontline states that are actually threatened by desertification. Again, you say, erosion consequent upon the advent of the desert.
The ministry has succeeded in creating early warning system to ensure people are up to date in case of any flooding occurrence. Within the period under review, the ministry has carried out a comprehensive national survey of ecological zones variations, scope and severity of soil erosion and flood control sites across the country. The survey updated the federal government's data bank on ecological problems.
Build
building a database that gives us the issues as they emanate from the various states, so that in states that are flood prone, we know what is there, and we have projects in the early warning systems that encourages the states to be able to apply themselves ahead of time.
In line with the administration's economic diversification policy, sustainable management, exploitation and exportation of wood and its products contributed over 8 billion naira in 3 years. The National Forestry Trust Fund was established as a complementary source of funding to augment resource availability for sustainable forest management. This fund provides opportunities for youth employment by employing youth in forest communities as forest guards. The sustainable management of critical WCO systems in the Hadijanguru wetlands had opened up the hitherto clogged waterways for fishing by joining communities through the clearing of the invasive taifa grass species. The cleared grass is also used as manure for increased agricultural productivity, thus contributing to improved food security.
It will interest you to know that there are some big undertakings that have invested millions of naira into waste world business, and they are making a lot of earnings from it. I can also tell you that because of what we are doing, a lot of people have come back to do agroforestry so that they can earn money. All this is kind of engaging of the youth and women particularly.
We know and we believe that with the continuation of these programs under the ministry by the incoming administration, Nigeria's environment will not only be sustainable for development, but also attractive and enabling for both direct and indirect investments to thrive.
Thank you very much. I'm sure we can do better with our applause. I want to assure you that what you just watched is the tip of the iceberg of what is to come when the Honorable Minister mounts the podium to present his scorecard. Before I invite him for that purpose, may I acknowledge in our midst the presence of the Permanent Secretary, Police Service Commission, Dr. Maurice Mbairi. Let's appreciate him. We also have joining us the Chairman House Committee on Environment, Honorable Obina Shidoka. May I also acknowledge the presence of His Excellency Alhaji Gambo Shuabu. Is there seated in our midst? He is the Executive Director, Islamic Development Bank. Also, permit me to acknowledge Alhaji Awal B. Shehu. He is a former commissioner of INEC. Please let's appreciate him. He's here seated in our midst. Permit me to also appreciate the presence of Alhaji MJ Amal, an entrepreneur, a friend of the house, also here in our midst. Also on the entourage of the Permanent Secretary, Police Service Commission, is a Director, Dr. Emmanuel Ibe, Director, Zonal Coordinator, Police Service Commission. Please let's appreciate him. Please, round of applause. May I, at this point in time, the auspicious occasion for which we all gather here to witness has come, invite to the microphone the driver of President Muhammadu Buhari's environment agenda, the Honorable Minister of Environment, and achiever par excellence. Please let's be on our feet with the standing ovation as the Honorable Minister mount the podium to present the scorecard of the ministry in the past 4 years. Please let's appreciate the Honorable Minister as he presents the scorecard of the ministry. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. You're welcome. Please let's be seated.
these your glasses? The glasses? I don't use glasses. Police Service Commission, heads of agencies of the Ministry of Environment, invited distinguished guests, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to this briefing, which serves as the end of tenure for this administration. I am the third minister in that ministry. There were two in quick succession. Mrs. Amina J. Mohammed, who is the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations today, and His Royal Highness, the Emir of Nasarawa, Alhaji Usman Ibrahim Jibril. I came into office in December, mid-December 2018. And this is how far we have gone with the cooperation of each and everyone that is here today, members of staff of the Ministry of Environment. It's actually your scorecard that is going to be read today. My friends that are here in our midst, the Cabinet Secretariat, and our allies in some other offices of federal government, most importantly, the people that gives us visibility, that is, the members of the press. If we go down memory lane, the Federal Ministry of Environment was created in 1999 by the Obasanjo administration to ensure effective coordination of all environmental matters, which were then fragmented in different line ministries: Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Agriculture, and so on. The Federal Ministry of Environment, Housing and Urban Development, as it were, then were merged in 2006 to become the Federal Ministry of Environment. It is noteworthy that the area of land degradation, climate, and biodiversity were given unprecedented attention by the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. What are our mandates? We are charged with the responsibility of protecting the natural environment against climate change, pollution, and land degradation, as well as conservation of biodiversity for sustainable development in the country. There was a vision to ensure that Nigeria develops in harmony with the environment, and we set out on a mission to ensure environmental protection and natural resources conservation for sustainable development. We have agencies, parastatals, and projects in the ministry. They are the National Agency for Great Green Wall, the Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, National Park Service, National Biosafety Management Agency, the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, National Oil Spills Detection and Response Agency, which is the DPR of the environment. We have the Environmental Health Officers Regulation Council. We have the Nigerian Erosion and Watershed Management Project, Then we have the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project, which is HYPREP. These are all agencies of our ministry, and what are the key objectives? Restoration of degraded sites, increasing the nation's vegetation cover, conservation of biodiversity, achieving clean and healthy environment, articulating and enforcing environmental laws and regulations, guidelines and standards, provision of effective and efficient administrative framework for environment management. What are our major thrusts? To mitigate climate change and its effects, sustainable environmental governance, reclamation, like I mentioned earlier, of degraded lands, and so on. What are our achievements over this short period? Since the advent of this administration, the ministry has taken a very important step to ensure effective coordination and better management of environment. Some of the notable achievements of the ministry include achieving the flood prevention and management of coastal shoreline. The ministry has prepared national policy on erosion and flood control consisting of 3 documents. These are National Policy Action Plan and Technical Guidelines, which is now the policy that guides implementation of erosion/flood control projects in the country and clearly states responsibility of the 3 tiers of government, that is the federal government, state governments, and the local government, as well as other relevant stakeholders. We have also the program. We have also the Flood Early Warning Systems program. The program is geared towards effective environmental governance and adequate nationwide flood forecasting and monitoring to provide flood warning in advance to reduce flood disaster impact and ensure prompt response to impending floods. We have installed functional flood early warning systems equipment across the country, and we are still going to do some more. We have done projects on erosion, flood, and coastal zone management in different parts of the country and undertaken by a lot of agencies and also a department of the ministry. Environmental health and well-being of Nigerians. We have ratified the Kigali Amendment to phase down hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs for short, under the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer in 2018. We have ratified the Minamata Convention on Mercury in 2018. The ministry flagged off sanitary inspection of federal government premises nationwide in 2018 in collaboration with Environmental Health Officers Registration Council and Abuja Environmental Protection Board. You can see our Dubagaris in their uniform. They are the ones in white. We have developed a draft national policy on solid waste management. We have also developed a draft national policy on plastic life cycle management. We are reviewing the national environmental sanitation policy. We have developed national polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, management regulations. The project is collaborating with Ministerial for approval and implementation of the regulations. We have produced draft engineering design for PCB storages and treatment facilities, awaiting recruitment of international engineering consultant to finalize the design. We have produced a draft action plan document on plastic life cycle management in Nigeria. Adaptation and mitigation measures to reduce climate change in line with UNFCCC. We have signed and ratified the instrument of ratification of the Paris Agreement that was done by Mr. President. Nigeria's UNFCCC's national reporting. Nigeria is a party to 3 climate change treaties, UNFCCC, Kyoto Protocol, and Paris Agreement, has been reporting to the convention through her first and second national communications and the biennial update report. Nigeria's third national communication is being finalized, and processes for development of BUR2 and fourth national communication has commenced. The issuance of the Nigerian sovereign green bonds. In the area of climate finance, Nigeria during the life of this administration became the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to issue sovereign green bonds to finance afforestation, desertification, and renewable energy, energizing education programs, which was mentioned earlier in that clip, to the tune of 10.45 billion naira. Just this morning, I flagged off the Abuja leg of the investors' roadshow, signaling the issuance of the second sovereign green bonds to the tune of 15 billion naira for similar projects in the 2018 appropriation. In addition, and in recognition of our efforts, Nigeria is now part of the Youth and Resilience and Adaptation strand of the UN Secretary General's Climate Action Summit coming up in September 2019. The National Action Plan to combat desertification and mitigate the effects of drought was reviewed and aligned with the 2015 to 2025 strategy to enhance the implementation of the United Nations Convention to combat desertification, UNCDD. Land degradation neutrality target setting, we have completed that. Nigeria is championing the fight against illegal wildlife trade in West African region, which has led to the development of the West African Strategy on Combating Wildlife Crimes, and to be presented at COP18 of CITES. The National Forestry Trust Fund has been set up via a gazette and has since commenced work. Protected areas and national security is being given added attention and impetus under this administration. The National Forest Investment Program 2019 to 2023 has been developed. Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wildlife, Flora and Fauna, CITES for short, has continued to be a key regulatory tool and revenue earner for government. Interagency and intergovernmental collaboration are being strengthened to address challenges posed by illegal practices. Forest research, the National Afforestation Project planted 10 indigenous tree species to about 834.6 hectares of land in 2018. You will realize that a lot of the species we have in our local areas are getting into extinction by deliberate actions of our cutting down the trees, one. Secondly, again, by the mutation of the land, what do you call it? The land degradation. The land degradation, it takes away the nutrients, and so those trees don't thrive anymore, so we are losing them. So we have engaged in replanting them through research. Then research into biotechnological approach of mass production and multiplication of the endangered economic trees, which I mentioned, rehabilitation of access, road drainages, and compartmentalization of arboretum, zoological garden, and equipment, especially in the Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria in Ibadan. Part of the achievement is digitization of the Free Library, Herbarium, and Forest Research Database, developed and shortened the gestation period of 10 indigenous species for maximum 7 years. Our traditional trees sometimes take 10, 12, 15 years to start producing, but through some research, we have developed and shortened the gestation period. We have adapted Free Nigerian Green Economy for Africa. We have passed the Free Act into law in 2018. Thank you, Honorable Chairman, House Committee on Environment. We have developed biomedical products for Nigeria's consumption. Before now, you get black seeds only when you travel outside. You get olive oil and some oils from some seed being extracted are also things we buy when we go out, but we can now have them next door in the Free. Oil spill detection, routine review and activation of the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan, Regional Oil Spill Contingency Plan, and Facility Oil Spill Contingency Plans are all developed by this ministry and its agents. Monitoring of cleanup and remediation activities, certification of oil spill cleanup products and remediated oil impacted sites. I think before the Ogoni thing, not many people know that cleanup and remediation on oil spill sites are being done. It's only the Ogoni that blew it open, and people thought it's only the Ogoni land is being cleaned up. No, but there are remediations and cleanup in some other parts of the Niger Delta that is being done by some other agencies and IOCs. The laboratories of the agencies are currently being given a facelift in order for the agency to carry out its functions of regulation and certification of polluted areas. National Park Service is one arm of the ministry. It is upgrading top mini parks to national parks. We have initiated that. We have also classified National Park Service as a paramilitary organization in order to address the menace of poachers in our forest and game reserves. Our poachers also carry now AK-47 and threaten our forest guards, and also those involved in tree cutting don't only carry chainsaws, they also carry AK-47 to gun down our forest guards. So this uplift given to the Park Service will help us mitigate some of these things. Production and implementation and review of management plans for the 7 national parks and the system plan for the service. Construction of over 2,000 kilometers of jeep tracks and ranger barracks, etc. The Great Green Wall is an African Union initiative covering 11 frontline states in Nigeria with focus on afforestation and land restoration. Production of 4,145,070 associated forest and fruit trees, seedlings for various afforestation and land rehabilitation and restoration projects. The fruit tree seedlings is talking about now the livelihood that is going to be incorporated in the activity of the Agency for Great Green Wall so that it can establish ownership by communities where these activities are going on. Establishment of 389.96 kilometers of shelter belt, establishment of 293 hectares of community wood lots. The agency has developed a robust framework for promotion of alternative livelihoods in the frontline state to serve as incentive for community ownership of the afforested land, which I mentioned earlier. Then the next arm of the ministry, the new map, which is a project. It has supported the development of a framework for adoption of liquefied petroleum gas as low-carbon alternative to firewood and kerosene. This is aimed at reducing environmental pollution from use of kerosene, as well as curtail tree felling for use as firewood, with the attendant health effects on our mothers, because they are the ones who use firewood to cook. A new map has started with 6 participating states at inception, now has 21 participating states. It is a World Bank funded project that has impacted innovatively in tackling land degradation in the southeast and south of the country, and also a part of the northern part of this country. Over 1,558.62 hectares were recovered as at February 2019 from the 21 first wave of sites, including activities in the northern states. 94% average physical progress. 2 sites have already been commissioned in Enugu. 56 new sites designs are cleared for implementation across the first 7 states. A total sum of 421,999,212 naira have been disbursed as sub-grants to 5,159 beneficiaries. We can further break it down to 2,346 male, 2,813 female under the livelihood enhancement activities of the new map. 2,980 project-affected persons fully compensated. Project-affected persons are where during the course of our project we encounter either we need to pull down a house, we need to encroach on your farm so that you can recover and then that kind of thing, or an incident upon our project, we also now term that person as a project affected person, and we pay some compensation where we are clearly at fault. About 68 officers of the new map and some other MDAs and agencies have received specialized training. These agencies, of course, are inclusive of Federal Ministry of Finance, Federal Ministry of Water Resources, and the EA Department of the Ministry. Installation of 19 meteorological stations, 15 hydrological stations, and 10 automated flood early warning systems across river basins. Progress for this activity is at 79%. The project target is 80% by 2020. The Red Secretariat, Constitution of Ondo and Nasarawa Red Plus Secretariat team, we have developed a national strategy and strategic and environmental social assessment for Nigerian Red program. We have signed a technical assistance agreement with Food and Agricultural Organization to undertake national forest reference emission levels for Nigeria. The TAA was financed through the FCPF Readiness Grant Finance. HIPREP, the agency of the moment. In 2016, President Muhammadu Buhari launched the cleanup of Ogoni land as recommended by UNEP, resulting in the setup of hydrocarbon pollution remediation project. The remediation has commenced in 16 sites across 4 local governments of the Ogoni land. These sites were handed over to them in January when we assumed office. Additional 5 sites, which were approved by Federal Executive Council, have also been handed over to these contractors last week. Sensitization and engagement of all the local government areas have been on since 2016. We've had community engagements, community health outreach in all the local government areas with over 21,000 patients treated. We are continuing with the scoping and delineating of more sites. Some of the sites, the scoping and delineation are ongoing. Procurement processes for phase 2 remediation have fully commenced. Water facility inventory and sampling and surveys ongoing in partnership with River State Government. That is to say, we are building partnership with the state government as against what has been bandied in the media, that there are no partnerships created by the indigenes of the area. A process of rehabilitating of these existing water facilities have commenced. We have a lot of activity going on fully in the impacted sites. Our contractors are working. They are being welcomed by the persons inhabiting the community. In actual sense, they are partners in that project. The other agency in our cluster is the National Environmental Standard and Regulation Enforcement Agency, Ministerial for short. We have operationalized the National Environmental Permitting and Licensing System regulation with a total of 804 air quality and waste and toxic substances permits and 14 EcoGuard certificates issued at various industries and facilities. We have developed 1 additional regulation on healthcare waste control, which has been transmitted to Federal Ministry of Justice and gazetted as National Environmental Regulation. In conclusion, may I conclude by emphasizing that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, under the change mantra, has made significant progress in securing the quality environment conducive for good health and well-being of Nigerians by promoting the sustainable use of natural resources and development of programs that affect the environment. The flag off of the Ogoni land cleanup exercise is an unprecedented feat that heralds President Muhammadu Buhari's determination to restore and maintain the ecosystem, ecological, process and preserve biodiversity in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Before we go further, I'd like to recognize the presence of the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, represented by Mr. Emeka Uzoma. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very sure that the presentation we just had now was quite engaging. And as a British architect once said, Richard Rogers, he said, the only way forward is if we're going to improve the quality of the environment, is to get everybody involved. So I think what the minister has just shown us now is that we all need to be involved in the environment for the better for each and every one of us. Thank you. Well, I'd like to quickly invite the chairman of the House Committee on Environment, Mr. Obina Chidoka, to make a few comments before we go on. Thank you very much.
Good day, everyone. I'm most delighted to be here today, and I know our time is fast spent, so, but we shouldn't be in a hurry to leave here today because this is a family already, and I want to stand on the existing protocols. But if you leave me, I will gladly sit on them. First and foremost, I want to start by thanking and congratulating the Honorable Minister of Environment, Surveyor Suleiman Hassan Zama. You know, one thing I found very interesting is that when you're talking with him, maybe because he's a surveyor, he's surveying you. and I find him very deep and engaging. The day he came to my office, everybody that came with him would say, leave them to talk for a few minutes. After 1 hour, they came and knocked on the door and said, are you people still there? And we are busy gisting away. Because after he surveys the office and whoever he's talking to, then he starts talking to you. And I find that quite engaging. And it's been a delight working with him as well. Also, the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Environment, Mrs. Ibukun Odushote, who also is very calm, very motherly, and always willing to assist and a listening ear. I have so far worked with all the head of agencies here for the past, well, I say 4 years. And most of them have become quite familiar, more like brothers. They're all seated here. Shola is here, who I call Doc. He's a non-prof. He hasn't told me that. I'm happy we have passed the fringe bill. And then when I call him PS, PAMSEC, he will say, no, I'm not PAMSEC. I am DG Great Green Wall. And I said, well, that's what I knew you as. Well, today he's here. All the head of agencies, due to want of time, have had fantastic relationship with any one of them. And this is also an opportunity, Honorable Minister, if you permit me, to commiserate with my brother, Biosafety, Rufus Egbagi, who just lost a dear son. It's an opportunity to commiserate with him and pray that the good Lord will grant him eternal rest. So today is a day for us to take stock, look at what we have been able to achieve in the Ministry of Environment, and today is the day for the minister. As we go ahead, and I know the government comes to, for this republic comes to a close, a new government will come. Honorable Minister, I don't know if I wish that you'll come back to Ministry of Environment. I don't know if you wish that. If you know where I'm going to, with a budget of about, right now, 13 billion. I know you wish your budget is 200 billion. Maybe that will make you come back. And that's what we always worked on, to be sure that the environment is well funded, from Fire Research Institute to Herocon to NOSDRA to NESDRA. And NOSDRA, by the way, we're still hoping that in the next assembly, your bill will be amended and it will be passed accordingly. So I want to use the opportunity to thank everyone, National Parks, whoever I've mentioned your name. I see Marvin there and New Map. I mean, these are guys that have put in their hard work to make sure that the ministry moves forward, and the cooperation we've gotten from them. So for that, I must say congratulations to everybody. And for the minister, in as much as I want you in environment, but whatever, I know you're coming back as a minister. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman. Before I yield the floor to our friend, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, the watchdog of the society, to affirm the success story of the Honorable Minister, because I'm sure all you needed to do is to allude to the fact that what the Honorable Minister has reeled out today as achievement were nothing but the truth. May I, at this point in time, acknowledge the representative of the Permanent Secretary, Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, represented by Abdul Karim Gowan. We also have the Permanent Secretary, Ecological Fund, ably represented at this occasion by Ladita Bolatito. You're welcome. On that note, may I yield the floor to our colleagues in the media for question and answer section. Please, you identify by raise of the hand, stating your name and the medium you represent. Maximum 2 questions. Ideally, I have the instruction for just 1 question, but if the need be, you have the leave for 2, please. Please, okay, we have the first person on this row.
I'm here.
Okay. Okay, sir, please, the mic is being passed to you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. My name is DG Abdul Wahab from News Agency of Nigeria, NAN. So concerning the green bond, I think 10.5 billion, I think, was issued last year, and basically was to finance renewable energy. We want to know this energizing education program. I know that that energizing education project are ongoing in some tertiary institutions. I want to know the stage of that project. Are they almost completed? And where are these projects are? Want to know. Second, in addition to that, recently the ministry distributed gas cylinder to various states in order to support the clean cooking energy. So we want to know the number of the cylinder you distributed, and how much the cost of that this thing that's.
Thank you. Can we have your question, please?
Okay, Honorable Minister, sir, Olubenga Danike is my name. I write for the International Center for Investigative Reporting. I have just 2 questions.
Sorry, can you raise your voice a little bit and then start all over again? Thank you.
Olugbenga Adanikin is my name. I write for the International Center for Investigative Reporting. Honorable Minister, sir, I want to find out what efforts the federal government has been making to check excessive destruction of the ecosystem, especially by Chinese investors who come into the country and engage in illegal mining. They also engage in illegal destruction of forests, especially in the southwest, in the south-south. What practical actions have you taken to address this? That's number 1. Now, number 2 is that early this year, the Singaporean government complained about making the largest seizure of endangered species, especially pangolins and all of that. And they claimed it originated from Nigeria. Ever since then, I think a statement was issued that the ministry will be engaging in a probe to actually ascertain if it actually came from Nigeria or not. We would like to find out what the result of that probe and what action are you taking to clarify if this endangered species originates from Nigeria, and what are you doing to address it? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any more questions? We have somebody in front.
Okay.
And I think after his question, maybe the Honorable Minister will want to attend to that before we take maybe 2 more. Thank you.
I respond to this first.
All right, my name is OJ Matthew. I work for Vision FM Abuja. Honorable Minister, I just want to ask a very simple question. The last event we had concerning the Ogoni cleanup, we were made to understand that 21 companies are now engaged in that environment, in the cleanup. But today I've been hearing the figure 16. So can you clarify, is it 21 or 16? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. DG, this one a customer. The proceeds of the 10.5 billion first issuance of the green bond were used in different things like you mentioned. Yes, we use part of it for energizing education. We use another one to electrify a rural community using renewable energy. That is Torankawa in Sokoto State. The universities that these proceeds have been used for implementing the renewable energy are Danfodio University, Sokoto, Bayero University in Kano, ATBU in Bauchi, University of Ife, University of Agriculture, Makodi, Alex Ikweme University, and then the University of Ibadan. These are the institutions that are beneficiaries of these proceeds. Now, what are the levels of completion? There are different levels of completion. I can tell you that the one in Bayero University, which I visited just last week, it is 3 megawatts power capacity. It is at 75% completion, and July, by the will of Almighty Allah, that will be commissioned. That of Bauchi is at about 40%. A lot of the materials they said when I visited are at the port and are waiting clear, but the substructure has been completed, and so at the other universities, the thing is at different stages of completion. But I want to tell you that there are 3 levels of supervision for those projects. The investors are supervising. The Ministry of Environment, as the facilitators of the fund, are also supervising. Then the Ministry of Power Works and Housing, that are the implementing agency, are also supervising. So that is the status of those projects today. Part of the proceeds were also used by our own agencies in areas of afforestation, like we mentioned. So different woodlots have been established all over the country. ICIR, you are talking about the activity of the Chinese in various activities that are degrading our land. I think it's not only the Chinese, we also have a hand in degrading our own land. So just don't, the Chinese saw an opportunity because we are involved. So the question to ask is, what are we doing to stop the menace of degradation of our environment? We have, like you know, the regulatory authority, Ministerial. They are running after all these people where they are identified, and some of them are undergoing prosecution now. Some of the sites are sealed, and so on and so forth. So Ministerial is taking charge of that, and they are in control. The seizure of pangolin scales in Singapore and some other places, Vietnam, if I might give you this additional information, Vietnam and so on. Nigeria is not a pangolin nation. So Nigeria is just being used as a transit route. We have made effort to even ask the authorities of the country where the seizures were made to give us the addresses of the agencies that transported the pangolin so that we can close on them and find out where their own sources are. But to tell you the fact, Nigeria is not a pangolin nation, so it's just a transit route, and we are collaborating with all agencies, Interpol, the Ports Authority, Customs, and so on, to make sure that this thing is minimized. And last, I think 2 councils, 2 fake meetings away, we have started to approve the procurement of bigger scanners for the Nigerian customs so that they can easily detect some of these small things. I think if you know the pangolin scale, it's just like fish scale, a little bit bigger than fish scale. So it is difficult to see by physical inspection because it is lined behind some things, and then that is how it has been taken. Even though the numbers may be high, but the kind of packaging they do is too small that you may not know it is that much and that expensive too, because they use it for medicinal purposes in the Asian countries. We don't use it, we don't have it, so we're just a transit route. The last person asked about the Ogoni cleanup to find out whether the companies are 16 or 21. There are actually 21 companies. The 16 that were earlier cleared, awarded contract and moved to site, those ones, the approval for the award of their contracts was within the Ministerial Tenders Board threshold, so they were treated as such. But the big 5, the threshold had to go to the Federal Executive Council for approval. That is why they came in that batches, 16 and 5. There are 21 companies working now. So thank you very much. Come again? Okay. Thank you very much. The gas cylinders is actually not the gas cylinders alone, but the cook stove, because each cylinder came with a stove. So the gas cylinders were shared to all states of the Federation. We wrote a letter to the states and sent these cylinders to them, and all of them acknowledged the receipt of these cylinders that we sent to them. If only I knew this question was going to come up, I would have come here with the letters of acknowledgement from the states of the Federation. So we shared them to the states and some agencies of government.
Thank you very much. On that note, we come to the end of the question and answering section. Like I did say at the introduction of the section, I said it's just going to be an affirmation of the success story of the Honorable Minister. And indeed, it was. Please, let's appreciate the Honorable Minister once again with a round of applause. There is an old saying that says the reward of good work is small work. The Honorable Minister has performed excellently in driving Mr. President's vision and administration in the environment sector during the change era. It is also our prayer and expectation that Mr. President will find him worthy to also drive the same process during the next level era. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your kind presence at this event. At this point in time, we want to officially bring this program to a end, but not without a word of appreciation to you. May I bring to the microphone to give the vote of thanks, Professor Adeshola Adepoju. Thank you.
I don't know where to really start from when you look at the whole thing that has been done here today. But let me just join my friend and brother, the chair of House of Rep, not to break the protocol and to do just the assignment I've asked to do, to give vote of thanks. I want to start by thanking the God, the Almighty, the only one who allows all things to happen, and the one that has allowed what we propose for today to come and pass. We can't thank him enough for all the privileges we are enjoying from him. Then we'll move to thank Mr. President, who came with a different approach to running the government. It looks tough at the beginning, but it's yielding its result now. And I think God answered our prayer and environment. We've not had this good in the last decades that we've been in the environment as a family. We have had 3 good successive ministers. And as the chair, House of Rep, put it, it was crowned in this administration with a surveyor who is never in a hurry listening to you. He will allow you to do all your submission and make his remark. And sir, he has also made a prophecy that he knows you are coming back and is wishing that you come back to environment. And I know most of us are taking it as a prayer point from today to be sure that that comes to pass. And so shall it be in Jesus' name. Sir, we can't thank you enough. If I want to go to my colleagues, I like thanking the management from behind, because we are only management because those who are supporting us are doing the needful. If they are not doing the needful, we will not be comfortable to be called the management. So I want to thank the entire staff of Federal Ministry of Environment and the agencies for all the role you've been playing to bring us this far. Then I move from there, sir, to thank the head of departments of the ministry, the directors who are the driving on the driving seat of the policies of the Federal Ministry of Environment. As many that are here among the directors, we want to say thank you for all the good work you have been doing. Then I move from there to the head of agencies for all you have been doing, for all the role you've played in this event of today. Everybody can see that it's very colorful and come as we all expected. We thank you, and we are asking for more. Like the earlier speaker said, that the reward of good work is to do more work. So we're expecting more from us, and I know we will do just that. I also want to thank those who avail us this place, so that when else will come, they will not say no. I want to thank you for allowing us to use this place and for providing everything. They could allow us to come in here and off the lights or off the generator. So we thank you because nothing failed throughout the course of this program. Thank you so much. We deeply appreciate that. Then I want to thank the National Assembly, represented there by the Chairman House Committee on Environment, Chairman Obina Chidoka, who has said it all and who has promised the Minister and the PAMSEC that come the next budget, you will drive us to 200 billion. Am I quoting you right? Having done this, I want to thank those who had found time to identify with our PAMSEC, the PAMSEC that are here from the Cabinet Office, from the Police Affairs, those who send representatives from our Ecological Fund Office, Women Affairs, and others that are here to thank you for finding time to say, is it not about environment? Why do you have to go there, that you are here? And we're promising you, the more attention, Chairman House Committee, sir, the more attention you pay to environment, the less we spend on drugs. The less we spend on medical. So please pay more attention and help us argue our case when next you have the opportunity to do so. I want to thank a mother and the PAMSEC of the Federal Ministry of Environment. The chairman House Committee said it all, very calm woman, spiritual and motherly in whatever role. Even if she's going to correct you, she will correct you in love. She will be telling you what she wants, but not shouting. Just calmly, and you get the message. So we want to thank you, Ma, for being a mother indeed. Sir, we know you are just going on a short break, and we don't want the break to be too long, since somebody has prophesied that you will soon be back. So please, even when you take this 1 or 2 weeks leave, please don't leave us alone. Continue to remind us what we agreed together that we'll be doing together, so that when you come, the gap will not be too much from where you stop. We want to thank everybody and to thank the press, who we believe will continue to do their job. A lot of things going on in the environment. May we use this opportunity to beg press. Either we have the money to pay you to advertise us or not. Please, you are doing a service to the country. Advertise environment maximally, so that the country will know that we will spend less on Federal Ministry of Earth. I'm not cutting their budget. And we'll spend less on war. Once the environment is ideal, all of this will fall in place. So media, we want to thank you for the role you'll be playing. And we want to thank all the stakeholders, international partners, the national stakeholders, the NGOs, who have been supportive to Federal Ministry of Environment for all the role you've been playing. We thank you all, and we thank the entire Nigerians for allowing us to work on their behalf. Thank you, everybody. We're grateful.
Thank you very much, sir. Please permit me to make this announcement before I bring this program to a wrap. Please, let's remain seated where we are. Immediately this program comes to an end, we have the lunch being served. Please, we have enough to go around. And immediately after this program comes to an end, the Honorable Minister, joined by members of the I table and representative of the various permanent secretary, will go in front of the foyers for a group photograph, after which the heads of parastatals and coordinators of various projects and programs in the ministry will also have their photo section, and after which directors in the ministry will also join for a photo section. On that note, shall we be on our feet as we bring this program to a wrap with the national anthem. Thank you very much, and Johnny Mercy, back to your various destinations. Please,